Welcome to the Planet MicroCap Showcase Virtual. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and thank you for joining us. Now presenting at our event is Jennifer McCarron. She's the president and CEO of Thunderbird Entertainment. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, TBRD on the TSX Venture and THBRF on the OTCQX. And with that, Jennifer, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me back, Robert. And thank you for joining us for the presentation. Thunderbird Entertainment is a high-quality global content company. We create, own, and distribute award-winning factual, animated, and scripted content worldwide. We are well on our way to becoming the next major global studio and have over 250 partnerships such as Netflix, HBO Max, Apple, Disney, Discovery Channel, NBC Universal, and many more. Going to our company overview, our mission is to create content that makes the world a better place, tries to make people happy, and provides a much-needed escape, especially during these unprecedented times. Featured here is LEGO Star Wars, one of our many specials with LEGO that was just nominated for 2 Emmy Awards, and we continue to enjoy a long and fruitful relationship with LEGO with work planned for years to come. A little bit about our journey. We were founded in 2003 with the mission of creating libraries to lift and fund IP exploitation and create major global brands. In 2014, Great Pacific Media was acquired, and in 2016, Atomic Cartoons. And the original mission remains very much alive today, as our major global brands delight audiences around the world, and increasingly we are moving into ancillary businesses like distribution, consumer products, toys, and games. Our service and IP slate continue to grow with Thunderbird, working alongside all of the major players, keeping quality as our North Star. As buyers create and look for more quality over quantity and look for that elusive hit, Thunderbird is incredibly well positioned as the destination of choice. So our executive summary, we're a microcap company with fiscal year 22 year-end revenue of $149 million, increasing 34%, and EBITDA of over $20 million, and we're growing. We have 28 shows in production, 8 of which are IP, and 2 of which are partner managed, which are fully funded by our partner, but entirely managed by Thunderbird. As a result, we see a very healthy back end of those profits. We're debt-free, with free cash flow increasing year over year by 13% from $12.3 million and over $14 million in fiscal year 22. The 2 main drivers of our company are Atomic Cartoons, our kids and family division, and Great Pacific Media, our factual division. Our award-winning team of over 1,000 artists is based in Los Angeles, Vancouver, Ottawa, and Toronto. In 2022, Thunderbird was awarded more than 21 industry or business awards, ranging from Great Pacific Media receiving a BC Business of Good Award for Diversity and Inclusion, to Molly of Denali receiving a 2022 NAMIC Vision Award, to Atomic's head of production, Joel Bradley, also being recognized as one of Business in Vancouver's top 40 under 40. Molly of Denali was also awarded the prestigious Reconciliation Award from the Canadian government, of which we are going to celebrate with the Canadian government in Parliament in January. Our extensive library continues to generate recurring revenue for us from names such as Kim's Convenience, Da Vinci's Code, BeatBugs, Game of Homes, and more. With new alliances with toy and gaming companies, we're further able to leverage our IP and content into the world of merchandise, gaming, microtransactions, which will open up new and possibly very lucrative revenue streams for our company. We've entered into a new phase of the streaming revolution, but this is great news for Thunderbird. Major streamers are adjusting their offerings to attract and retain subscribers by creating tiered packages and opening the door for more advertising to stay competitive and to win in a fierce market. What investors in Thunderbird should take confidence in is that while the streaming wars may be entering a new era, Thunderbird is a real beneficiary of these events. Our high-quality, family-oriented program will be in greater demand as the large players cut back internally and turn increasingly to Thunderbird for great content. Again, we have 0 corporate debt. We're young, we're nimble, and we're growing. Our experienced executive team, Barb, Sarah, and myself, are all highly operational. We've all grown up in the industry. And Matt and Richard are key to our success being in Los Angeles and the push for increased ownership in IP. Taking a closer look at our divisions, Atomic Cartoons, we produce high-end content across multiple 2D and 3D pipelines and genres, spanning preschool, comedy, action-adventure, adult, and everything in between. Some of our titles that you'll recognize are Spidey and His Amazing Friends. We're doing Zombies for Disney, our ongoing Lego work that includes Star Wars and the Marvel franchises, My Little Pony, Young Love, based on the Oscar award-winning short Hair Love, the upcoming Sony animation series that'll be on HBO Max, Teenage Euthanasia, which is an adult series, a great follow-up to our adult offering Little Demon, several yet to be announced very exciting Netflix shows, Coco Melon, and more. The partner managed show Oddballs, which we just launched on Netflix, debuted #1 on Netflix Kids, in the top 10 in the US and multiple other territories, and stayed in the top 10 of Netflix shows, including adult. This is another partner managed offering where we participate in the back end, and it's safe to say it looks like a hit. We are increasing our IP ownership, providing ancillary revenue in toys, merchandise, music, and gaming, and shows continue to greenlight, which I can't wait to tell you more about. We also embark on co-pros like the highly successful Molly of Denali. A great example of our mission and style of content is Princess Wears Pants. This is a partner managed show, which I'll get into a little bit later when we do a partner managed case study. Going on to our unscripted division, Great Pacific Media, global leader in factual television, widely considered best in class. Add to this, relying heavily on an unscripted programming during the pandemic and witnessing this genre soar, broadcasters and streamers continue to order and provide a steady flow of unscripted programming. Even more so as recession fears and streamers' financial challenges push downward on the overspend in years past, concerns over the writer's strike in May 2023 are further fueling demand for factual and unscripted content, of which we are very well positioned for. At GPM, we generate almost 100% of our own IP, developed by award-winning content creators with an eye for diverse entertainment across genres, with authenticity and aspiration befitting the times in our Vancouver and Toronto studios. New IP shows like Styled for HGTV and Hulu, and Dead Man's Curse also released into season 2, and more to come. Great Pacific Media also produces 2 scripted offerings, Reginald the Vampire for Sci-Fi, Hulu, and Amazon, and the Movie of the Week Boot Camp for Wattpad Studios. Our premium scripted division is a new division, and our move into premium scripted will build out the 3rd key of content in our vertical on our path to becoming a major global studio, while adding value to our existing library. We are well established in animation and unscripted, and this is our chance to grow in another area that is booming. Live action scripted is currently the biggest spend for TV, streamers, networks, and broadcasters. 2022 is already outpacing 2021's growth in this area by 17%. We are well on our way with our first line, our initial premium scripted project. It's based on the book Officer Down and the real-life experience of Dr. Frank Adams, NYPD surgeon. This series is a 1-hour character-driven procedural about the doctors who care about NYPD's finest, and it's now in development with a major US network. This slide is just underscoring the support for the move into premium scripted. You can see the growth and what a boom it really is. Taking a look at our distribution and consumer products division, in 2021, we opened this division under Richard Goldsmith, who joined us from Henson and Disney. And this division is allowing us to further and increase and exploit our IP ownership in video games, merch, all cross-media exploitation, anything you can think of as we deliver and distribute content around the globe. Owned IP translates into toys, bed sheets, you name it. Announced properties like Mermicorno from Tokidoki, the insanely popular Japanese lifestyle brand, are being set up underneath this division. Also, instead of hiring third-party consumer products and distribution divisions, we can further increase and leverage ownership by bringing on shows like featured here, Mittens and Pants. This preschool series we didn't produce, but we own it to distribute. And it's having its series debut on CBC Canada and Sky Kids in 2023, and is currently having wonderful success being sold to platforms globally. More of these shows to come, so stay tuned for announcements. Our financial overview. These are our three buckets in our business model. Intellectual property, again, where it's 100% owned, the content lives forever in the Thunderbird library. We have full control to leverage into all forms of cross-media distribution. Below are some of the shows that were fully owned IP: Highway Through Hell, Mud Mountain Haulers, Strays, Kim's, Last Kids on Earth, and more. In service, that's when we're hired to execute upon production. We're 100% cash flow throughout, so great for cash flow, not lumpy quarters. Shows that are like this are My Little Pony, Trolls, Pinecone and Pony. And when we do a great job in service, we can turn around and sell our own IP. The other bucket is our partner managed, like Oddballs, and that's where we're hired to handle all creative from stem to stern. As a result of doing all the extra lifting, doing all the development, we get paid an increased producer fee, more profit, and a substantial percentage of back-end sales of consumer products, merchandise, gaming, all cross-media exploitation. Examples of this would be Princesses Wear Pants, Oddballs, Hello Ninja, Dogs in Space. Moving forward, the tax incentives. A wonderful part of being a Canadian domicile company are the incredible tax incentives, which have been around for well over 30 years. There's also been a new bill introduced by the Canadian government, which requires streamers to invest in and buy a certain percentage of Canadian content. Streamers will go with their trusted partners like Thunderbird, and as a result, this just will further allow us to turn on more of our own IP. Essentially, in a nutshell, up to 50% of a Canadian resident's salary can be covered by the government. This allows us to put higher quality on the screen and present high quality budgets to broadcasters that are impossible to say no to. Taking a look at our revenue, this slide illustrates the phenomenal growth of Thunderbird from 2020 to 22. 83% increase in revenue, over 30% increase in adjusted EBITDA. We've done all of this in a debt-free manner and increased our cash flow at the same time. Our condensed balance sheets, our cash position is strong, and again, we have zero debt. Here are the updates to our year-end, June 30th, 2022, and our Q1 for fiscal year 23. Condensed income statements, revenue, EBITDA, and cash flow continue to increase, as you can see. And here's a snapshot of our trading information and capital structure, where we're traded, our highs and lows, and common shares outstanding. Taking a look at recent sales in our owned IP, Reginald the Vampire, again featured here, was commissioned by Sci-Fi, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, with new additional sales to Sky UK, Ireland, and more. Kim's Convenience, another one, is everyone familiar with. We just licensed it to Fast Channel, which is another really great avenue for us to sell more content. We're seeing a lot of activity with the Fast Channels. US platforms, including Pluto TV, Samsung, Amazon Freevee, and more. On recent scripted sales IP, Dead Man's Curse has been renewed for season 2, Mud Mountain Haulers for season 3, Styled for season 2, and more. In kids and family, we have several IP productions in various stages of financing and several more in advanced development. So we should be able to make those announcements soon. An IP buyout and partner managed case study of why this is so lucrative, just taking a closer look at Princesses Wear Pants. In 2018, we flew to NYC to meet with Savannah Guthrie and Ali Oppenheim and optioned their amazing New York Times bestselling book, Princesses Wear Pants, which was a new take on princesses, where it's okay to embrace your pink and sparkly side, and it's more important how you lead and how you treat people than what you look like. As a result, Netflix picked it up as their only princess show to go head-to-head with Disney's entire princess line. This series will launch on Netflix in early 2023, and toys and video games will follow 9 to 12 months later. We have a healthy piece of the back end, and if this brand does as well as we expect it to, we stand to substantially benefit from the upside. Taking a look at our industry landscape, going here. So this slide's just showing that OTT and streaming continue to boom. In a recession, if there is one, people stay home and bake and they watch more TV. And this is set to increase 3.8 billion, or 48% of the world's population by 2025 will be streaming. They all need content. Content spending has continued to reach new heights. These are published commitments to content spending from Disney, Comcast, Amazon, Hulu, Discovery, Netflix through 2025, and it is huge. Thunderbird remains extremely well positioned to capitalize on all of this need for content. Taking a look at the kids and family and unscripted divisions and why they go so well together, we are uniquely positioned in that both factual and kids and family are the cornerstone of each streamer strategy to glue that key co-viewing audience. Families at home gathering to watch content together. This is the stickiest of all demographics, as people are less likely to subscribe and unsubscribe when kids and family are glued. For example, the kids' hit show CoComelon, which we are producing for Moonbug and Netflix, generates over 2 billion views per month on YouTube. Netflix saw that and licensed compilations of these videos. And this remains one of the top 10 most popular shows in one country or another for all but a handful of days this year. Developing content for the alpha generation. This is interesting because this is an area that we specialize in. And the alpha generation is forecasted to be the wealthiest, most educated, and technically literate generation in history. They are the first generation to be completely global and expected to be the most influential generation of the 21st century and number 2 billion people globally. This is a great audience to be reaching. Our expansion strategy, growth initiatives. This is my favorite slide. Where are we going? We have key new hires in marketing, business affairs, ESG focused, book scouts, agency to source more IP, facilitate continued growth. Our in-house consumer products and global distribution division continues to exploit IP ownership. We're developing and acquiring IP franchises all the time with ancillary revenue streams. We've also launched a premium scripted division, as I walked through, to enhance overall library value and to increase the global footprint through global elevated content. We've invested in software and technology upgrades to deliver premium quality programming and provide continued work from home options. This allows us to go easily between feature film work and television work. We're looking at M&A, but that's only strategic, financial, and cultural fit to expand talent pool, studio capacity, and create an international footprint. We're expanding in unscripted in the US, doing more shows like Think American Idol, more format shows. We're investing in our IR strategy and eventual NASDAQ listing when the company is the right critical size to land with some gravitas, making strong first impressions and increasing visibility. We're attracting outstanding partners. We're working with every single company on this slide and have been very careful to maintain great relationships with all of our buyers. We're in over 200 territories and 40 different languages. Our world-class talent. As a content creation company, we are nothing without the amazing talent and creative force of people that we work with. Teams have joined Thunderbird from Disney, DreamWorks, National Geographic, Pixar, just to name a few. And they're coming to us because they see something special happening and want to be a part of this amazing journey that we're on. We are investing in the future. Here are just some of the amazing new hires I'm so proud to announce that we've added to our team to make sure we continue to grow in excellence. As you can see, we're investing heavily in lifting IP, selling, and marketing our own IP, as well as an increased focus on sustainability and ESG initiatives, key to retaining and attracting both new talent and investors alike. Looking at our IP development, the Kids and Family has more than 10 projects underway in various stages of offer. Unscripted has 16 projects on the go in various stages of offer being set up. And Scripted has rapidly built out our premium scripted with our first offer and development set up at a major US network, which I just spoke of. Plus many more coming up through our development pipelines. Our IT strategic initiatives, examples of this is where we've invested heavily as a studio. Things like the cloud infrastructure, to allow us to grow the studio as required in burst growth without having to make further long-term investments in hardware, software, storage, and rendering. And again, all of this investment allows us to support a hybrid workforce and seamlessly transition between feature and high-end series. M&A, our approach to accretive M&A. We don't want to get bigger for the sake of getting bigger. Again, rather, we're looking at making acquisitions that make financial, strategic, and cultural sense. We have great organic growth, don't need to enter into a roll-up strategy, and we won't pay a very high multiple past what we're trading. We would never want to dilute our shareholder base. Our IR strategy, well, here I am today with Robert, which is great. These are some metrics on what our IR strategy will look like for the year ahead. Essentially, we would like to reach more investors and get our team's amazing story out to help recognize the true value of our company. We're also planning an LA Investor Day in person, so stay tuned for more details. Our ESG initiatives. We are building a purpose-led, people-first, net positive company that will create value for all stakeholders, investors, and shareholders alike. We just finished a session on sustainable storytelling with Netflix, and it was quite very well received. Companies with strong ESG strategies outperform traditional offerings. And inclusion also matters to us. The most diverse companies are now more likely than ever to outperform less diverse peers in profitability. Companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on teams were 25% more likely to have above average profitability. Diversity wins at Thunderbird. We're so proud of shows that highlight characters from diverse backgrounds, like Peabody winner Molly of Denali, on which we worked with over 60 Indigenous actors, writers, and producers from Denali in Alaska, many of which are now working full-time in the industry today. Great Pacific partnered in the launch of fully independent, female-led Indigenous production called Wapanatahk Media and has created shows like Queen of the Oil Patch, Dead Man's Curse. We continue to focus on a safe and healthy workforce, keeping diversity and inclusion at the forefront of our culture. I also wanted to let you know that this December we will be having a naming ceremony. The Thunderbird name, we've been concerned about any type of cultural appropriation, but the Stayalist and Musqueam communities in British Columbia have let us know they actually think we're doing a great job with the name and don't want us to give it up. And that our D&I initiatives and the work we're doing globally we should keep that name in recognition of the outstanding work that Thunderbird has been continuing around the globe. This naming ceremony, we were officially awarded the name, will take place on the Stayalist land on December 16th. And we could not be more proud. In summary, we're a small cap company with fiscal year 22 year revenue of over 149 million, which increased over 34%, and over 20 million of EBITDA, and we're growing. We have 28 shows in production, 8 of which are IP and partner managed. We're debt-free, and free cash flow increased year over year in fiscal year 22 by 13% from 12.3 million to 13.9 million. We're increasing ownership in major global brands, and it's incredibly lucrative. The reason that Hasbro first bought E1 for $5 billion was because of Peppa the Pig and PJ Masks. They're now selling E1 Hasbro, but holding on to Peppa the Pig and PJ Masks, those two brands, because these brands, when they hit, the value of them is massive. Never has there been a better time to be in content, and I believe never has there been a better studio than Thunderbird to capitalize on this exciting time and become the next major global studio. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen today.
All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for your presentation here today. I have a few questions for you to follow up. First question, you're probably getting this more often than not. If for those who are following the Thunderbird story, back in November, Boss Capital filed. Did they file a proxy they did, right? Okay. So just wanted to get your take on the proxy battle. What's the official response from Thunderbird, and how are we handling this?
Yeah, for the management team, we're continuing to focus on healthy operations. I believe my job is to work for every single stakeholder, employee, shareholder, Equally, we do want to hit this out of the park for everyone, and we will hit this out of the park for everyone. And we don't want it to take 20 years. We don't want everyone to be grandparents along the way. So I think, hopefully we can reach a compromise. And I think everyone's mindset is that everyone wants to unlock the true value of the company. But as management, we just continue to focus on operations and making sure we have a really continuing healthy business.
Absolutely. All right. Well, my next question then, because last time we did an interview, or I don't think it was the last time, but we did an interview, I think earlier this year, where we talked about how, you hired, I think it was Steve, is it Steve or on the toy side?
Oh, Richard Goldsmith.
Richard Goldsmith. Okay, I knew it was Goldsmith, but I didn't know Steve. So, I would love to get an update there. Have we started to recognize some sales there? What's the plan moving forward? Because, with all the IP, I'm sure that's a huge growth area for the company.
It is. We're having a lot of success setting things up. Unfortunately, we can't always announce them because our partners want to do it in tandem with us. And if we announce too early, there's no, it can get lost in the news. But we will start to see the full impact of that division by 24 and 25 fiscal year. So our fiscal year ends in June. So things takes a while to make them get set up, see the profitability, but we're making great headway.
Absolutely. And another thing that you mentioned a little bit was, some of the streaming wars and how some of these the business models are getting changed with adding advertising revenue tier and stuff. Has that impacted the demand for more content from independent production houses like Thunderbird, or what's been going on, so to speak?
Yeah, no, essentially, I think, and I touched on it in my presentation, but streamers are focusing on more quality over quantity. So companies like Thunderbird, where the teams do incredible work, we win Emmy Awards, you name it. We're well considered an industry darling, not because of me, but because of the amazing teams. And we handle a lot of major global brands and service. We're doing, for Disney, we've done Donald Duck and 101 Dalmatians. Now we're doing Spider-Man and their big new brand Zombies. Just an example that when the focus for quality is on, nobody is better positioned than Thunderbird. So we're in a good spot.
Very good. All right. So final question for you today, and I'm asking this to all the companies that are presenting here. We are in tough markets. What would you say are some of the measures the company is taking to mitigate some of these macroeconomic pressures that most microcaps are facing across the board?
Yeah, I think we're well positioned because I'd like to think we're in a somewhat recession-proof business. People need to stay home and watch content. We are definitely looking around at our space, just as we haven't gone back into the offices full time. Is there areas that we can tighten? We're trying to be more fiscally responsible now that we've invested in our IT, in our software and whatnot. Certainly we always hire to the shows. Our staffing is mostly done so we can expand and contract based on the shows. But definitely, I think we're uniquely positioned in that we do have such a clean balance sheet that we are, holding our water a little tight because there might be the opportunity for us to be quite opportunistic over the next 12 to 18 months. Not that I wish any ill will on anyone, because I really don't. But with some distressed assets, there might be opportunities for Thunderbird to grow and do so in a way where we don't overpay. There might be some interesting deals to be had.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Jennifer, we're there. Thank you so much for your presentation here today, answering some of my questions. And for everyone watching, thank you for participating. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Jennifer, thank you again.